Yeah. Can you say, Gary, that there's some things still that are yet to be discovered about this go to WOTA stuff, about why someone might be more vulnerable than
Well,
someone?
that side of it, yeah. Like, why, you could have watched. Let's take LeBron. Genetic coding could have something to do with it. LeBron's a reverse mover, pure reverse. Heels go straight in. He's got a natural bow in his leg, so he typically don't have a joint issue. But every year he's got some kind of pull muscle. Like he'll pull a groin, he'll pull. Now he also spends $1.5 million on recovery every year. He's got massage therapists, he's got PTs, he's probably got a doctor on his staff. He's got all of these people to constantly keep him together.
But from GOTA perspective, from GLS perspective, I hear that you guys say that many times those that are more medically treated are worse off because of the direction and the suggestions they've been given.
That's not medically treated, and recovery is two different things to me. Cryotherapy, he owns a cryo machine, a massage therapy. We with massage and all of that stuff. There's the medical stuff that the traditional physical therapy of strengthening and isolating muscles and things like that is what we're opposed to. Because and let me just give you an example. A kid blows out his ACL. What's the protocols?
I haven't looked at protocols in years, but I know they exist.
Yeah, and so it's a cookbook recipe, basically, is we go in there, we strengthen his quad, strengthen his, they'll do some core strengthening, thousands and thousands of glute bridges probably and stuff like that, a lot of heels down stuff. But if he's inside ankle bone low, there's no protocol in there to fix that. In other words, it's almost like they broken, we strengthen it to go back. Mm-hmm. We don't correct movement inside of the physical therapy world. We like you said, they'll identify the valgus, they'll strengthen it to make it, to try to pull it out and then send it back. But if the valgus is being created because of a drop in a medial malleolus, then it's never going to be fixed, right? You're just going to have you may last a little bit longer before the next injury happens.
Mm-hmm. Gary, how do you fix that then?
How do I fix it? Like I said, I train it heels up inside ankle bone high.
Yeah, and elaborate on that. Can you explain it more? When you retrain inside ankle bone high? Well,
number one, it's about foot placement, right? It's probably a lot more in depth and detail than like, I'm not going to deadlift a kid that's got collapsed ankles. I'm not going to deadlift no kids because they never play with their heels in the ground. They never hip thrust like that. So putting the foot in the optimal position and the knee in the optimal position, and like I said, you would ISO them. Make sure they decompress first, right? Because they probably tighten. If they in valgus, they could have a tight IT band or tight hip flexors or something like that. If once we stretch them out, get them decompressed, we have a groundwork series that does that. Once we get them decompressed, then we'll do a lot of wall work where we'll load them up on the wall. They could hold a plate, they could have a weighted vest on, the butt's on the wall, but the feet are in the positions that we want them to be in. If somebody's inside ankle bone low, immediately when we put them inside ankle bone high, they'll go into tremors. Mm-hmm. They'll start to shake. And why? I just explain it as it's the nervous system recoding. Mm-hmm. It recodes the body. Because the worse you are, the more shaking you have. And that's a big part of what's happened with GOTA that people don't understand is for 6 years now, I've been in a gym doing this stuff. So I've seen it work with the athletes that stay with it. And I've seen it not work with the athletes that dabble in it. It's a big struggle for us because all our kids in high school go to the gym with their football coaches and they Olympic lift and they power lift. We don't like that. We typically don't have, I got guys now like a George Kittle or Ike Bodiger with the Bills that can walk into the professional weight rooms and say, I'm not doing that no more, man. I got a program over here that I'm gonna work.
So how do they work on explosive power and that's things that do translate into sport?
Well, typically when the body's moving through space properly, listen, when you optimize the movement, they get more explosive, they get faster, they get more conditioned. If you're not the guy, you're not going to be explosive and fast anyway. Like, in other words, that's another thing like that. I think we've over-invested in this specialized. I got a speed coach. Ronnie Baker he finished 5th in the Olympics this year in 100 meters. He's been in recent contact with me, and I just got a message from somebody that he's planning on coming down. He's 27 years old. He's had quad, hamstring. He's had a bunch of different issues. He's stuck in reverse. In other words, when his foot's coming off the ground, he's not closing, he's opening. So when I changed that.
Closing, do you mean the ankles going out?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
When I say closing, I'm talking about the femur. Because you open the bow, you set it, and then you close it.
Right. Internal rotation.
Yeah, internal rotation would be the way that we would describe.
it.
You talking about Jason, you talking about the femur, right?
Well, I'm just trying to understand when he says closing versus opening, just to help listeners understand.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a language problem.
Yeah, it is definitely a language problem. Straight foot, inside ankle bone high, the knee sets out about 22.5 degrees. And then once it loads and it starts to come off the ground, if that inside ankle bone is sitting high like that, it should stay high and go away when the foot's coming off the ground. So what happens is it's almost like you load this system, right? And you use a fractal of centrifugal force that when that foot strikes the ground, it's striking on the 4th and 5th, heel stays up, and then it's like torque, like it creates and it throws the athlete forward. Same thing that a tornado would do when it touches the ground to travel. The hurricane moves and rotates. Everything in nature moves in rotation. Why wouldn't it?
Hear the entire episode for free on iTunes, Spotify, other favorite podcast players, or go to mechanicalcareforum.com.